Hey everyone, Rascal here.
And Mama, welcome to our channel, Paws On Animation.
And today we're covering the critically acclaimed DreamWorks movie, The Wild Robot, finally.
Yes, and this movie's being hyped and praised from the time the very first teaser trailer was released. And we have to say that the movie did not disappoint. But
before we start, be sure to like, subscribe, notification when future podcasts and little pause videos.
And thank you for joining us today, subscribing, sharing our videos, commenting, and so much more. We appreciate everything you do.
Yes.
So, The Wild Robot, as you know, was a sci-fi adventure film produced by DreamWorks and it was distributed by Universal Pictures. Mm-hmm. Excuse me.
So, like we said, when they had the trailer released for it, people were already waiting to see it, like, at the beginning of the year. It didn't come out until, I think, September? Mm-hmm. I think September, October. And they were already really excited because of how it looked. Now, in the first trailer, there was no dialogue, so they kind of thought that's how a majority of the film was going to be. It wasn't, but it still ended up being a fantastic film.
Absolutely. Now, it's based on a set of novels for children and teenagers written by Peter Brown, which consists of The Wild Robot, The Wild Robot Escapes, and The Wild Robot Protects. So they were all put together.
Right.
And these books were released between 2016 and 2018.
Right. And they've already announced that they're going to do a sequel to The Wild Robot, so it looks like they're going to adapt the entire trilogy of books into a set of films.
That's weird because it sounds like everything was put in the first movie, kind of like Captain Underpants.
Yeah.
But I guess they'll find a way to do it.
Right.
So, as you mentioned, this movie was released in September of 2024, has a running time of 102 minutes, 78 million budget, 324 million at the box office.
Oh, wow. And surprisingly, they didn't use a whole lot to make this. And you can tell it's doing a similar style of Puss in Boots: The Last Wish, where they're mixing in different animation styles, like a 2D, 3D hybrid blend to create the film. And that's what captured people's attention the most, because they really love what they did with The Last Wish with that. So the fact they did in here actually make it look like watercolor for most of the movie, that made it was a big appeal to it.
And they were inspired, they say, by Disney and Hayao Miyazaki.
Wow, isn't that interesting?
Well, I'm sure classic Disney.
No,
if that's the case, absolutely.
No, you're right. Because I do remember to describe the film, they said it was Iron Giant meets Studio Ghibli. So, you know we had to see it.
Yes, and was nominated for 4 Golden Globe Awards, including Best Animated Feature and Best Original Score. So, it was fantastic.
Yes.
We were not sure how it was going to be. For us, it was the same way as when we watched Migration. We weren't sure if it was going to live up to the hype.
Right.
Well, it did. Absolutely,
yeah,
positively.
definitely.
It had cute moments, heartwarming moments, moments with a little fear, but not so much fear that children can't watch it.
Right.
And it leaves it open where, they can definitely make a sequel.
Right.
And it'll fit in.
Right. So, in case you somehow don't know, this movie has a story of Roz. There's a big set of numbers that comes after, so we're just going to call her Roz for the rest of the podcast, who ends up getting accidentally lost on an island full of nothing but wildlife. I guess it's supposed to be transporting these other robots to the city where she's supposed to go and end up there. So she spends the majority of the movie discovering the surroundings and everything. And the animals are very hostile, like very, very hostile. She's the monster and they keep trying to kill her. And it's like, oh my gosh, the animals aren't even found, humans already acting like it. And raccoons try to steal from her, and it's like, okay, just everything wrong happens there. And the central point of the movie happens when she finds a lone egg in a nest and takes care of it until it hatches. And that pretty much kicks off the plot from there, having to raise the gooseling.
But first we thought he was going to get a number named 2, but ended up being Bright Bell.
Right. And it's a 0001. That's not a name. That's horrible. And then he was trying to pronounce it too. Like, no, stop.
They did fantastic marketing for it.
Yes.
Which is fantastic.
Yes.
Because usually you see things and they are misrepresentative of what the movie actually is.
Right.
The only thing, as you mentioned, it was silent, so people probably thought it was going to be silent, but it wasn't, so we were happy. But it really delivered what the trailer said it was going to.
Yes.
And if any of you have read the books, let us know in the comments.
Yes.
We definitely want to take a look at least at the first book and see how well they stuck to the original story.
Right. And when you get to this part of the movie where it comes with Roz and Fink the fox raising, I'm calling it Bright Bill, later on, it's probably one of the best parts of the movie. Ends up lasting throughout the rest of the film because originally she helped to hatch, that was it, and then he kept following her everywhere she went. Well, you have to raise it. I don't know how to raise it. And that became her new task, is to raise Right Bill.
And then when we were watching it, all I kept thinking of is the episode of Tom and Jerry with the little bird that goes,
"Are you my mommy? Is that my mommy? Oh, if my mommy wants to eat me, then my mommy's gonna eat mommy."
That's all I could think. So I ended up doing a mashup between that episode and this movie, and Rascal put it up so you will see it. But that's all I was thinking of because it was just so adorable.
Yes,
and Bright Bill is so adorable.
Yes, and you have to get to it when you see him grow up. We kind of thought that was going to be a majority of the film, but it wasn't. I think that was the only thing that we kind of wanted more of. You see him grow up. They kind of flash forward to him being older.
Right.
You see him very little, and he's kind of copying everything she's doing because he doesn't know, but he's literally a few hours old.
Yes.
And the two cutest moments is oh, don't you have a name? They're Roz 3, 4, 5, 6, blah blah blah, so. And he's trying to repeat it. Roz 3, 4, 5, 6, 4, so. You can call me Roz. Roz! And then the second thing is when you see him get older, he doesn't know how to fly, so he ends up learning that later. But before then, he's trying to make friends with other animals. And the whole time, he's acting like a robot the whole time, making the robotic noises, scanning for new friends. And he greets animals in like 4 different languages, and they're terrified of him.
And it was so funny. Like, well, she's taught him well.
He's an educated bird.
And of course, there had to be a little bit of, he's a weirdo, he stands out.
Yeah.
But Roz, I'm going to call Mommy, comes over and she takes care of him.
Yes.
Then let's not forget to mention the fox.
Yes,
who
Fink.
became one of the more favorite characters in the movie.
Yes, and a big part of that is because of Pedro Pascal being the voice of him. Yes, you saw he didn't care about literally anyone or anything, and then he changes as the movie goes forward because he kind of kicked the goose at one point. Here's how I learned how to swim, and he kicks it into the water. It's like, this is why he hasn't learned.
And he kind of reminded me of Bruce Willis in Over the Hedge.
Yes.
His attitude and the way he was.
Yes.
He reminded me a lot of that character.
Yes, and then others would see Nick from Zootopia.
Absolutely.
So you end up having, I guess,
It was a
all these.
combination.
Yeah, you have these inspirations for him.
Now, interestingly, this movie was actually pushed back a week to avoid competition with Transformers 1. But honestly, if they had released it at the same time, we
I
had
don't
nothing
think
to worry
we-
about.
Unfortunately-
I think Transformers 1 probably would have had fewer ticket sales. More people would have gone to see this rather than Transformer 1.
All right, so I get it really needed the help.
It helped
So
Transformer 1.
yeah.
So it also has been applauded for the environmental themes it incorporates in the narrative, including a reference to climate change in a sequence depicting a futuristic San Francisco
Yeah.
with a partially submerged Golden Gate Bridge. So they developed the film in coordination with Universal's Greener Light program and the Natural Resources Defense Council's rewrite for the Future Initiative. That's a long title.
Yes, a long time.
So it was
Jeez.
definitely done on purpose.
Yes.
But it's just a fun movie. So quickly we're going to get to the voice cast. We have Lupita Nyong'o as Rosam Unit 7134, otherwise known as Roz. And she also voiced Rosam Unit 6262, or Rummage, who gave her the transponder so she could go back home.
Yes.
As you mentioned, Pedro Pascal is Fink. Kit Connor is Bright Bill, who did a great job, and Boone Storm as Baby Bright Bill. Catherine O'Hara is Pinktail, the possum, who had an attitude.
Right, and too many kids.
Yeah. Bill Nye is Long Neck, elderly barnacle goose. Stephanie Sue as Vantra, or virtual observational neutralizing troublesome retrieval authority.
I guess, aka the minor villain of the movie.
True. Mark Hamill as Thorn, the grizzly bear. Matt Berry as Paddler, a beaver. Bing Rames as Thunderbolt, a peregrine falcon. And Randy Thorne as the Rico's reconnaissance robots designed to get her back.
Oh my gosh.
So, casting was great for the voice actors. And this movie could have even been longer, and I would have sat through it gladly. You have movies that you wish they would hurry up and end, they're too long.
Right.
And then you have movies that you wish they were longer.
Right.
This could have been longer, as we mentioned, including how she reared him. And we've gotten to see that, and I would have enjoyed it.
Yes, I think it was the only addition I would love to have in there. Like, I feel like we missed out on.
So we know you've seen Wild Robot. Let us know what you think in the comments. Did you see it at the theater, digitally, on DVD? Let us know. And if you haven't seen it, it's available everywhere soon.
At the
Well,
time
by
recording.
now, everywhere.
Yeah.
Including on streaming services, DVD, and
Yeah.
everything.
Pretty much everywhere.
So if you haven't seen it, give it a watch. Come back and tell us what you think.
And if you haven't already, subscribe for updates, big reviews for the anime series, anime shows, and all things animation.
Yes, and thank you so much for joining us for this podcast. For subscribing, as we said, we appreciate you so much, our specials. You are awesome.
Thank you so much for watching Rascal Entertainment.
And Mom Entertainment.
Have a tune-tastic day.
Peace.
Ross, 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 Ross.